Federal agencies are on a constant journey to modernize their IT. Working with integrators experienced in delivering managed service programs is one way to help agencies make faster headway with their most pressing IT infrastructure, software applications, security, and operational needs. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk about that today is Simchah Suveyke-Bogin, Chief Customer Experience Officer at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Simchah, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to start by asking, what's an example of an IT operational or staffing challenge at the USDA where adopting an as-a-service model is presenting a faster or more effective way of delivering on your mission?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. In terms of challenges, at USDA and being part of our customer experience office and leading that charge, we're always looking at things and challenges from the customer's perspective. One of the unique services that USDA provides is it provides such a tremendous amount of services. So we're always challenged with members of the public discovering some of the services that we're doing, challenged with so many different ways to contact us and so many different services to understand. And one of the ways that we created a service through our Office of Customer Experience is through our Ask USDA Contact Center. This is a service where we really heard from the public, the challenges from our partners to really just engage and, not understanding all the components of USDA, but needing just an easier path to accessing our services. So creating this one front door through Ask USDA and delivering that service through various channels, whether that's talking to a real person through the phone or through a live chat, whether that's getting an email and getting a response within the same day or within 24 hours. Those are some of the things that we're really priding ourselves in at the moment in terms of really just being able to connect with those folks. But also, from a technology perspective, also being able to capture a lot of that great data as to what are people asking, what are they getting stuck on, what are they confused of. Maybe we just recently released a press release and it's about a new service, for example. And so we're able to reflect a lot of that data and information back to the agencies to really kind of communicate what is it at the ground level that's going on in the minds of the customers that we're serving.
And then how are you using various degrees of managed services or an as-a-service model, if you will, to meet mission objectives? And maybe what's an example of what you're still keeping in-house?
One of those services that we're really building on is our Voice of the Customer program. This is a program that is in-house that we're really trying to get our arms around. What is the experience our customers are having, and looking at that from a data perspective, really trying to look at even some of our qualitative data. What are folks saying when they're responding to things like RFIs? What are people saying when they go to our conferences? And all the meeting, recordings and things like that. How can we get our hands better around some of this data so that as a department, whether we're a specific agency or a program, how can we get our arms around, better decision making when it comes to policy, people, processes, so that we're really tying in that kind of data into our decision making. So this is a service that we're really looking at, the latest when it comes to listening technology, but also understanding that every agency at USDA might have different needs, different levels of listening, different maturities when it comes to assessing this type of data. So we're really having to listen to our customers, our internal customers, which are our agencies, to really understand, what are the capabilities that they understand that they have now or what they might need in the future, and then really try to meet those needs and align with those.
And then where do you see as a service or managed services making the most significant impact on your agency's operations?
Well, one of the services we're exploring right now is really in the talent realm. When it comes to seeking talent around people who can help our agencies or our department really understand our customers, we're really looking at, what are opportunities to bring more design talent in-house, and really start to blend that talent with some of our technology folks that are already in-house, some of our program folks and project managers that are already in-house, and really try to kind of mix it up a little bit when it comes to this type of talent. So we've been really laser focused on trying to figure out how to bring the best type of talent in, but also to kind of fill in this design gap. A lot of what customer experience is about really understanding your customers, putting yourself in the center. And there's various different types of design talent that really hone in on that and try to figure that out, whether that's through, social scientists, whether that's through visual designers, whether that's through customer researchers. So there's so many different layers of design talent that is out there, and some of them are actually mixed with IT talent. And so sometimes just exposing and educating folks and agencies that this type of talent exists, but then taking it a step further and really concentrating on talent as a service is something that we're really working towards at USDA.
And then what are some lessons that you've learned so far that you might share with others about, in your case, blending managed services with your existing staff?
Yeah, I think with customer experience, especially even with things like, we had a recent customer experience executive order that was signed a couple of years ago. But even with all those elements in play, I think we're always looking at how do we continue to shift the culture? How do we continue to educate folks and show them value? A lot of the times, I'll just use our contact center service as an example. A lot of the times, people are just trying to look at more of the kind of practicality of it, right? What's our return on investment, or how much, money are we saving? And sometimes, we're having to showcase really the value of showcasing that customer experience is a valuable performance metric. Sometimes trust is a really good indicator, especially when you're talking about government services, as an indicator of success. So a little bit of mixing up how people interpret performance is something that is a big culture shift. It's not about profit always, and it's not about just always saving time. Sometimes people can get really valuable service on a 15-minute call versus if you made them do a 5-minute call. And, kind of balancing out what's our return as a government agency if, we're taking that extra time, or we're really valuing what people are saying when it comes to their experience with us. So I think culture shift when it comes to those types of aspects of the delivering of the service is something that's super important to us. And then we're going to continue to really elevate the importance of experience metrics as a performance indicator.
I think that's a really important point, because experience is not always easy to measure and is often
Correct.
underestimated, and yet is so critical. Well,
That's
and then
correct.
lastly,
Yep.
how do you see, again, as a service models or managed service providers shaping your technology priorities going forward?
I think always the experience our customers are having and what they need, whether that means, my service to the agencies, in particular at USDA, or even our services that we're delivering directly to the public. I think experience and understanding their needs should always drive what we prioritize, when it's IT or policy or anything else for us. And we're biased in the Office of Customer Experience, but we truly believe that that is the kind of pinnacle of helping us kind of understand what direction we need to go in, especially when we're making large investments, department enterprise investments, or even just small scale agency or programmatic IT investments. I think if we're not putting the customer first, we can lose out tremendously on how we're putting it together, the approach that how we gather requirements. I think all of that, really relies heavily on experience. And if we don't have the right mechanisms, the right tools, the right type of talent to do that, we could go the wrong way when we prioritize or invest in IT. So for us, we're really valuing and amplifying the importance of this. And anywhere where we can kind of make that more prominent or make the lens much more customer focused, we're here to do that.
Well, customer experience is so important. It's great to see someone like you at the U.S. Department of Agriculture leading the charge here. So thank you so much for sharing some of your insights with us today, and in particular, how managed services can also help augment some of your activities. So Simchah Suveyke-Bogin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.